Okay, so now how does the construction of Hagia Sophia under the rule of Emperor Justinian connect or relate to Sultan Ahmet's mosque, the Blue Mosque? Well, now that we know the history of Hagia Sophia, that it was built on the ashes of a revolt, when Justinian constructed this church, he was putting his foot back down into Constantinople. Remember, he almost left. They almost got him. And the construction of this is a way to say, I am here and I am in charge. And according to the Eastern Christian Church, Emperor Justinian isn't just your leader of your everyday lives, but he's also one of the authorities for your spiritual life. So he is making a physical presence and a spiritual threat with this. Wow. Now, taking that into consideration, when the Ottomans take Constantinople, they will convert Hagia Sophia into a mosque. And that is a statement of power. That is a statement of dominance, that the Islamic faith is here in the once Christian capital of Constantinople. However, that's not enough for Ahmet. Ahmet says he's thinking this was a church for like 1,000 years, way before us. We need to make something just as grand and just as significant in the center of Constantinople. It is a statement of Islamic dominance. It is a statement of a continued occupation of this city. It is also a statement of Ahmet's power as sultan, because he too is not just the ruler of your physical existence, but he is a leader of your spiritual existence. So Ahmet is echoing the same power that Justinian did with the building of Hagia Sophia, with the building of the Blue Mosque. I give you this image here because I want you to understand why he chose to put it in the middle of the ancient city center. In the back is the Topkapi Palace. This is the royal palace for the sultans. This is where Ahmet would have grown up and got educated. It is a direct line between the Topkapi Palace and Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque as a way to create this thread of power across the ancient portions of the city. Here's another view of it. So there's the Bosphorus Strait, the palace, Hagia Sophia, and the mosque. Its presence at the front of the strait makes it seen first. It dwarfs Hagia Sophia in its size, its scale, and its number of minarets. Do you see that? So there were 4 minarets added to Hagia Sophia when it was converted into a mosque, and the Blue Mosque has 6 minarets. Now, it's interesting to note that it has 6 minarets because at this time, there was one other extremely famous place that had 6 minarets. It was the mosque at Mecca. So, what are you doing, Ahmet? Are you making a parallel to the sacred city of Mecca? Well, it was shortly after this that the mosque at Mecca added a 7th minaret. I don't know if that was directly correlated with Sultan Ahmet's mosque, but something to think about. Do you see a similarity in their exteriors? Domed, central space. supported by half domes, right? And then here, I'm giving you the definition for this type of mosque again. This is a central plan mosque, a central plan building. And here we are at the beginning of the Bosphorus Strait. We see our courtyard and the prayer hall in the back. Here's our floor plan. So we're going to enter into the courtyard. There is the central fountain, and then we pass into the larger prayer hall. Now, it's at this time I want to address the fact that we're looking at a central plan and not a hypostyle hall. The great thing about hypostyle halls was that you could easily add to the space without compromising the architectural integrity, right? You could simply add on more columns and more roof, and then open it up and expand that central prayer hall, right? Think of the Mosque at Cordoba. But with the central plan, it's not going to be as easy. In fact, you would be resistant to add to this space because it would compromise the delicate balance of the central dome. Why am I calling this out? Because it is at this time that the Islamic faith is not expanding, but further establishing itself in this territory. So rather than adding more converts to the faith, and therefore adding more space to a mosque, mosques during the late period are going to be not as concerned about making for future generations a bigger mosque, but helping to establish a solid, planted, firmly established mosque. So even the architecture, logistics of the architecture is speaking to the history of the faith, that a hypostyle hall can be easily added onto just as more people are converting to the faith. But by the late period, there are less converts and more just the establishment and further presence of the faith and the mosque. Now we can see in this outline here, there's our central dome. There are our supporting half domes. Let's go stand in the courtyard. Oh, it's so pretty, right? The courtyard has our sacred water, that fountain in the middle. And here I like this image because it gives you a better sense of scale with the people. The minarets. The minarets that we're looking at here. They're called pencil minarets. And this style of minaret is characteristic of the Ottoman Empire. They're called pencil minarets because they're very skinny and they're very pointed, like the sharp tip of a sharpened pencil, right? So here we have pencil minarets, characteristic of Ottoman mosque minarets. So let's walk through these doors in the back of the court. Not very elaborate or spectacular. The exterior seems rather dull in comparison to what we saw in the Iwan mosques of the Safavid, right? The Safavid Empire. We had the beautiful tile work just encrusted on the exterior and the interior. That's not here. That is because the Blue Mosque is echoing the more subdued finish of the Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia is extremely elaborate and decorative on the inside and not on the outside. The Blue Mosque is echoing that kind of interior decoration and, for lack of a better word, I don't like it, but the humility of the exterior being very dull and not bright and spectacular like we saw with the Safavid Empire. So now let's walk through these doors. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This interior is both insanely gorgeous, but also what we've come to expect, right? It's highly decorative, highly ornate. The geometric manipulation covers every surface of the interior. There are portions that are calligraphy. There's a repetition of pattern and form across the spaces. They echo within architectural elements, right? Like those half domes all have similar architectural details, while the columns repeat different architectural details. We're standing under the dome, and we should see a very clear resemblance to the central plan under the dome of Hagia Sophia. So just like Hagia Sophia's dome and half domes, the central dome and half domes of the Blue Mosque open up the space, create this expansive vertical and horizontal area for us. This image here I like because it answers a question that people often ask. They ask, so why is it called the Blue Mosque? Why don't just call it Sultan Ahmet Mosque? It's because the interior is lined with more than 20,000 handmade tiles, and the ceramics colors vary, but they're dominated by this gorgeous turquoise blue and red tulip pattern that when the light comes through the stained glass windows creates this kind of purple indigo hue. It floods the space. The light streams in from the windows underneath the central dome, but also underneath those half domes. And it's breathtaking. It's something you have to experience. Here we are standing underneath the central dome. And I love this image because it lets you, or allows you to see all of those windows that stream in light. Again, back to the technology of it all. This would not be possible without the invention of pendentive technology that we see in Hagia Sophia. So here we are in comparison again, Hagia Sophia and Sultan Ahmet's Mosque. Do you see the pendentives? Do you see them anywhere? Here. Now I've given you the definition of pendentive again, just in case you weren't paying attention before. And here is the mihrab and the minbar that face Mecca. And just because, here's another view. Now, I wish I could show you more of Istanbul. I wish I could show you more of the Blue Mosque. I wish I could show you more of the nooks and crannies of so many of these Islamic structures, but we just don't have that kind of time. So with that, we are going to close out our look at Islamic art and architecture for this module. Bye.